Befinden sich im Zuhörermodus.
Hello and welcome to the Health Literacy Project and our webinar. This webinar focuses on biosimilars. What do patient groups need to know? For your information, we are here in Austria in a room with several patient groups from different countries and wanted to offer also an opportunity for those who cannot participate personally. It will be presented by Dr. Raimund Lunzer, specialist in internal medicine and rheumatology at the Hospital Department for Rheumatology, Barmherzige Brüder in Graz, Austria. Thank you very much for coming. This webinar is supported by Boehringer Ingelheim. It will take about 45 minutes. If you have any questions, please use the chat opportunity at the question mark you can see above on your screen. I would like to go ahead and start with a question for you. Biosimilars are like generics, are close to generic drugs, or are not at all? Sorry, I just saw that we have here a problem with the transfer. Here it was. Back. Now you should see the question. I also ask here the patient organizations, what do you think? Who is for the first one? Raise your hand. Who is for the second one? Okay. Who is for the third one? Oh, okay. So what did our the people online say? Click on the right answer, please. Okay, nobody clicks at the moment, but we have here two who are saying B, so close to generic drugs, and one not at all like generics. Okay. So I would like to hand over to Dr. Lunzer for his presentation. Mm-hmm. You can just start and click here, please.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the nice introduction. Webinar, my first time here. I'm sitting, not standing. Okay. Okay. Hello. I'm Graz. I'm a rheumatologist, and these are the colleagues of mine, and you see in the slide. I'm working with many rheumatologist patients. I'm very experienced in the biosimilars, and in the next time, maybe also in the biosimilar way. My job today is biosimilar. What do patient, the comprehensive group need to know? And when I talk to the patient or to my colleagues, or if you look at the internet, you found many answers. You found many questions or sentences. Here, someone. Can I click the next one? Okay. Here. Okay. Okay. Successful products are cheaply copied to make money. This is not the truth, but maybe in the background or some statements like, we're afraid of, you sacrifice safety for your money, or we, the patient, are the monkeys. We are afraid of the non-medical switching. I will explain you later in the slides what this terminus means. This means that only for the reason of a price should change a medication or switch to another biologic or a biosimilar. And often I heard that we have no enough information. Okay, I'm here. I hope I will give you the right answers for these questions. What is the background? Why I'm here? Why I stay into the limitation is these biologic products have revolutionized the therapy in rheumatic diseases. That is clear. That's the big background. And biologics are not only in arthritis very successful, also cancer. The big point, I think, there are coming up new medications. We will see 50% patient, and very, very, very good. Arthritis on and inflammatory digestive or inflammatory bowel diseases, that is most chronic arthritis ulcerosa. Kidney disease and growth disorders, it is not my favorite practice. And then also about the psoriasis and psoriasis arthritis, a big problem, and you can help them very exactly. Effective tool, the biologics are very effective tool for rheumatic diseases, long-acting medication, now 18 when you take the trials, 20 years in practice. A very good safety profile. E.g., there's no cancer growing up. We are afraid of in the first years, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, but no cancer. Okay, there are cancers, yes, but they are no higher than the normal population. And we have alternative routes of application. We have to use a injection, self-injection, or an intravenous application from. And in the next year, we will receive a orally medication. Also, there are very good ideas from the. And a very important parameter today is staying work and avoiding long or longer periods of sickness or sick leave for the employers. And this is very, very important because the disease is not for 5, 3 or 2 years, or maybe for 10, 20 years. And now we have the possibility and the medication to lead to the remission. This was in the last 50 years no longer available. And we have now wide availability of alternative substances in the case of non-responders or side effects. For example, in rheumatoid arthritis, there are 9 or 10 possibilities to use for this disease. But the price is hot, very hot. In Austria, $60,000 to $20,000 per year for a patient. And in the future, the next 25 medication are in the pipelines will be on these biological drugs. And these terminus biologic biosimilar are the next big thing for the global medicine medical industry. There is the research, there's the money. The costs are so high that creating treatment issues, success issues, for example, 25% in dermatologists are in the key EU countries. And in Canada, they felt the cost of biologic was an important barrier to use these medications for the patient with psoriasis. And in the rest of the France, Germany, only 10 to 30 receive the biologics for the treatment, and the rest have nothing, or the classical DMARDs. Oh, here questions.
So
please.
yes, it's time for another question. So what do you think? Biosimilars are cheaper than biological, the reference drug? Are they the same price like biological, the reference drug, or more expensive than the biological or reference drug? I ask here also in the auditorium, please raise your hands for the first. Okay.
Everyone.
Then I don't have to ask for the other ones because, yes, of course, it was the first answer, cheaper than the biological.
Everyone checked first.
Okay. We have here also now 100% by the listeners online. Thank you very much. So we can go on with your presentation.
Okay, yes. Biologic biosimilars, okay, yes. There is a financial interest, many money make develop around, and there are so successful products, and the other companies see that and they will be part of this market. But the price is so high that the rest of the world, excuse me for this easy terminus, but they cannot afford biologics. And in this last slide, I've showed that there are 25 of the biologic market for the rheumatic diseases will growing up. And in the real biologic pipeline, there are 700 biologic medication in the pipeline, e.g. for all indications. But here is oncology very in the front, and they need these products for the patient. And a biosimilar have a more favorable price. This is the truth. I'm not so exactly to playing with the wording or the wording in English, but the wording favorable price can also be used for the word for advantageous price. I hope you understand what I mean, but first of all, this favorable price depends on the approval pathway. This was the official statement of the two big agencies, is the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration of the US, and I show you in the next slide and of the EMEA, of the European Agency. And this was the Barack Obama signed into law 2009 with the Biologic Price Competition and Innovation Act for the biosimilar And here are some statements that I lightened out for you. This license pathway permits a biosimilar biologic product to be licensed under the number of the Healthcare Service Act, and based on less than a few complete of product-specific preclinical and clinical data, abbreviated license pathway and abbreviated license pathway. And the next point I will discuss later on, that the interchangeable product may be substituted for the reference product without, highlighted without the intervention of the healthcare provider who prescribed the reference product at first. There are other statements. I don't want everything read out here on the slide. There I have a clear statement for the interchangeability or for the biosimilar market. Also here for the EMEA, the European Medicines Agency, a biosimilar product or biosimilar medicine is a medicine that is used to another biological medicine that already has been authorized for use. And they have so a timeline for 10 years for the originator, then taken up or for made available by another company. There are some question answers published by the EMEA 2012. There are some statements that are now also on time. The main part of the evaluation is a comparison of the biosimilar, that is reference medicine, to show that there are no significant difference. They have to show that it's really clear they are similar, and they show it. As for all medicines, the safety of biosimilar medicine is continuous, monitored after authorization. It is clear that it is not only for the biosimilar, that is for every new medicine that are growing up. Yesterday, EMEA licensed also 11 new treatments. The agency evaluation do not include, this is the difference to the FDA, and I agree with this point, do not include recommendations on whether biosimilar should be used interchangeability with its reference medicine. And for the questions related to switching, they let the possibility to the countries or to the healthcare systems or to the Ministry of Health or for the insurance or for the regulators. So they should not substitute for from the EMEA or from the EMEA point of view, they let to their own countries alone. I think the EMEA is stand for the highest security. I think I have not met until now bad experience with this agency. I think safety first is one of the key parameters of this agency. I think that is okay. And they have approved biosimilars all. For the first years, well, I will see later on the smaller biologics, and I will show you here are the highlighted. This is Inflectra, this Infliximab, and here is Remsima. These are the first biosimilar on the market. They have approved by the EMEA. What is this terminus or this wording? Are we afraid of non-medical switching? In my point of view, an important rule in medicine: never change the winning team. It is not also not for the biosimilar or biological ways, and also when I have a patient with a exact blood pressure or I have the statin medication leads to the laboratory parameter which I want to have, or the beta blockers, for example. So I don't change, in my opinion, an exact effective medication. It's an ethic codex, okay, and I'm not alone, I know it, but stay on a medication which leads to remission. When you have, as in our cases, medication is you have no side effects, you have no glucocorticoid on board, or you use sometimes NSAIDs, and no swelling, no pain on the skin is fully clean. Why should I change this medication? We can discuss this, but in my opinion, stay on the medication at least to remission, and I'm not the man who change only of the reason of the money, the medication. And the discussion also with later on with this interchangeability wording or a statement or possibilities for them. When I change the medication, I go to the risk. I have a risk that there is growing up some side effects. Only with a price is the reason that is not from my mind of view at the point I want to have from the regulation. Some basics for the biopharmaceuticals. Biopharmaceuticals can be termed as a medical drug made through biotechnology. There is a therapeutic or preventive medicine using DNA technology. The first of these biopharmaceuticals was insulin. For example, here are the other families, that call families for biopharmaceuticals, hormones, and it's insulin, cytokines, peptides, vaccination, and our hot topic out today, monoclonal antibodies, antisense, or the cell therapies. What is the big difference between the generics and the biosimilar? Biosimilar can never be termed than a generics. This is why this is so important point, because there are some laws that the generic recommendation put on the biosimilar market too. Then for an Austria example, there is the generics have to be lower the price for 48% to the originator. And when you do the send the genericum recommendation to the biosimilar, this is not a correct terminal use. Generics are small molecules, very stable, mostly with other device, produced on a chemical synthesis. This is one of my highlighted points. There are limited clinical trials, abbreviated registration in procedures in US and Europe, and pharmacy can substitute to another generics. So, for example, this is the small molecules. Biosimilar, there are large and huge complex molecules. I hope you know that. I'll show you some slides later what I mean. Stability requires special handling, and also the companies or the manufacturers have a high knowledge and big advantage to produce them. The device is a key definitor to produce this on living organism. Key point to the other side, chemical synthesis and living organism are very, very, very important point. Excuse me, that was too fast. Can I go a little back? Can I use this one? Okay, okay, not bad. Okay. And this, okay, the approval pathway is new, and pharmacists may not substitute this medicine without the information of the prime rheumatologist who prescribed this medication. This is very, very important. This explanation, this is the molecule of an TNF-alpha molecule, and this, for example, is aspirin, okay? And a little bit of one, this is a huge molecule, and it is not so easy also for the company to produce this. Not everyone can do this, they have a big knowledge for the companies or the manufacturers. Answer questions?
We have another question for you. What do you think the proof of effectiveness and safety is more complex for biosimilars or for generics? Here in the auditorium, who is for biosimilars? Okay. Who is for generics? Okay. What are the listeners online saying? Just click on one.
100%.
100%. Okay.
For the first answer. Okay.
So, is it right, Dr. Lunzer?
Yes.
Yes, great. Unfortunately, you did not win a prize now, but we go on with your presentation.
Okay. This is a complex relationship for an easier way. Aspirin, like a bicycle. Okay, I know bicycle can also be very expensive, but when I go to the biosimilar for insulin, maybe this can come a relation to a Porsche. I think a Porsche can be rebuilt or recreated by another company, but a space shuttle is a molecular antibody. It is not so easy to fly in the aerospace or in the space in the atmosphere with a plane, and this cannot rebuild so easy. The molecular antibodies are huge, very difficult molecules, and we are playing with living systems. Also for the companies, they have gene sequence, they have vector inserted gene, host cells, fermentation, and complex purification process to the end product. This is high sophisticated, and then you have we are playing with living organisms, not with chemical structures, but with living systems. This is one of their main point, and they cannot license a biosimilar under the generic labeling. Also, the process for the manufacturers is not so easy. That okay, you have then a product, you have your plant, and for example, myozim is a swim for morbus pompe and rare disease. But they only want to have a bigger plant and use for 2,000 liter instead of 160 liter. They changed completely the glucosylation. This means that the pharmacokinetic changed. And also Raptiva, for example, they have only the same plant. They change in manufacturing facility during the clinical trials. The pharmacokinetic changed. Or also only the production of a additional subcutaneous dose form for mabinocrit. It is an erythropoietin injection who is responsible for to get more erythrocytes in the blood. Only this additional subcutaneous dose form changed completely the medication, and they were growing up neutralizing anti-drug antibodies and have a severe side effects. So also the knowledge of the product is not enough. Also the manufacturing process is very, very high sophisticated and very difficult, so not so easy to rebuild or create a biosimilar. So my statement is biosimilar are similar and not generic, important for labeling and for clear transparency to the market, similar versus generic, and give a clear and correct information. I have at the first presentation, I have make a photo from an original product, but it wasn't allowed for me to use an original. I have get this slide, and what everyone in the room knew, what I knew when there's 100 milligram in an infusion, what I'm labeling here, but the generic name here in this generic name is not correct. Use the terminus biosimilar. It's my example for the companies. I think the companies wouldn't follow my statement, but the generic is wrong, and use the terminus biosimilar. Everyone, also the doctors, the pharmacist, and the patient immediately recognize this is a biosimilar, an originator, and everyone knew what he is received for his disease. Some statements to pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic. It's a little interesting point of view, but the pharmacokinetic is the definition of a study of time course with the metabolites through the body, and the dynamic is the pharmacodynamic effects. Pharmacological effect. What is easier, convenient layer of description is pharmacokinetics describe what a body physiologically does to a drug, and the pharmacodynamics describe what a body does, what the drug does to a body, excuse me. There's an increasing recognition that the genetic variability is an important point, and when you change this in the manufacturing process, for example, there are changes in the transcription of proteins, drug transporters, drug targets, and this substantially determination of pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamics variability is very important for the relationship between the patient, for the dose effect. We clinicians are more interested in the drug effects than in drug concentration, this is clear, but these disciplines are closely connected, and this variability is a major determinant of the dose effects and for the relationship in patient. Some slide for the terminology. We are always talk about the biosimilars and not me too biological or non-innovator biologicals. The biosimilar is a copy version of an already authorized biological medicinal product with demonstrated similarity in physiochemical characteristics, efficacy, safety, based on a comprehensive comparability exercise. This is clear. And the other one, you can read it, is this. So me too biologicals, biologic medicine product developed on its own and not directly compared and analyzed against the licensed reference biologically. It is a big difference. Right? Some we can discuss later. BioBetter, the companies knew some product specific changes. They can product or produce a BioBetter. Yeah? A highlighted point for the future. What's the difference for the development? The originator has a huge amount for the clinical. For the PK and PD, this PK means the pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic, preclinical and analytical, and the biosimilar have the upside down this. They have a huge amount for the analytical preparation for the biosimilar. What is the advantage? Yes, what is the market advantage? Biosimilar will be cheaper, 20 to 25%. And so we can make, and this is my wish and my hope, these drugs available for more patients who need them very, very fast. For me as a doctor, it's clear efficiency, safety, and tolerability are the first line parameters. I want to discuss this. And whether there is a relevant active power or tolerability loss over the time in a biosimilar remains still to be seen. Just now, previously, there have no been any problems with the biosimilar market or the products. They're really similar. There is no difference. And the next time we will hope that it's the same. There is coming up some problems also in the internet and in the statements of the recommendations or the commenters. What means extrapolation? Biosimilars show a comparability regarding safety and efficiency in one or two indications to the originator. For example, there exists trials for RA, rheumatoid arthritis, or the SPA, this is called the spondyloarthropathies. But so they also approved for the other indications of the originator biologic, e.g. for psoriasis, some psoriasis arthritis, EBD means inflammatory bowel disease, also this is morbus Crohn and cortisol ulcerosa, and also juvenile arthritis. From a clinical point of view, a direct transfer from one indication to another cannot be justified, but this is a very important point. Clinical trials are very, very expensive. And the EMEA have a clear statement for this. It is not ethical for trials where we get no new information. We knew everything for the biologic side effects, loss of response, anti-drug antibodies, side effects, really everything. And we have to use the resources effectively for new medication. Okay, they have to show in one or two indications the biosimilar, the similar drug with everything on the market, with DNR and approvable everything else. They are really similar. But when we use an extra trial for each indication, they have no advantage. But requirement, they have to be equal. And so it is, I have started with the problem of the wording of interchangeability. This is the FDA statement, not from the EMEA. The interchangeability product may be substituted for a reference product without the intervention of the healthcare providers who prescribe this. For example, in Humira, there are growing up 11 biosimilar. They are in the pipeline, and the experts said not 11 will come up to the market, but 5, it's really possible. When you think from this called Humira, or when you have also done 5 biosimilars from etanercept or 5 biosimilars from infliximab, you have 15 biosimilar on the market, and I want to know which medication has what I have my patients or the patient. Side effects, loss of efficiency, it is very important. And for the pharmacist, it's also very heavy to store this amount of huge amount of medications in their pharmacies, and I don't want that the patient every 2 months when they go to the pharmacist and get the medication will change them. And when I have a side effect, I will know what is the reason for the side effect. Is the product the reason or the disease the reason? Clear labeling and this interchangeability is near to the wording with non-medical switching, as it is called NMS. I'm not that everyone else could substitute or can substitute my primary medication. I'm coming to the end. Biosimilar are never the same. They are clearly similar to the original. Clear labeling, show it to everyone what you are received. It is an originator, biosimilar. I stand for non-medical switching. There are some reports that when you have drug antibodies in your body, there is a possibility when you get a originate biologic that you can have blood anti-drug antibodies. That doesn't matter sometimes, but they are also responsible that you have a loss of response or side effects. But when you have some anti-drug antibodies in your blood and you have no problem, and when you substitute to another biosimilar, you can loss of response because these anti-drug antibodies make a problem with the biosimilar. But when you have this terminus, you have a problem with anti-drug antibodies, then you have also you cannot use a non-medical switching, but then is the reasons you have a medical reason that not to switch. And also you cannot use this non-medical switching terminus when you have a medicine problem. But non-medical switching means only that there is a lower price and they switch the medication only for the price. That is, in my opinion, not correct. And we are here at a nice group. Include the patients within therapy strategies. Ask them what they want. First of all, not do harm. Now in Europe, it is treated target. Everyone of the rheumatologists that use this treatment target to remission. We can reach the remission. It is hard to, it's a hard way often. It is clear. But however, when you have long-standing disease, the remission is not always to reach, but the terminus low disease activity is then to use, but it can lead to remission. Strong communication between the front of the end, the healthcare system, doctors, manufacturers, or the companies, and the patient. Tell them what they want. When you speak with one voice and you say, we don't want that non-medical switching, we want also be part of this. We have, everything we heard. There are also from the EULA is the PARE, where the patient have a statement for these biological biosimilar treatments. I give you some inside information. Excuse me. Do you really think that the originator manufacturers will wait? They have also a key. This is the price, and they know the originator where is the limit for the production or the manufacturing process, and when they lower the price through this line, the biosimilar companies will not earn enough money, or there's no reason to get with these products to the market. And the second point is the big companies producing biosimilar often also produce the biologic or work for the originator in the past. For example, Novartis has Sandoz in the background, and also the Boehringer Ingelheim are big companies, and they know the products process. They have already produced the originator. They have the knowledge, they have the power, or they have the man or the women power, and the ideas to do this correctly. And so it's also a labeling when here is Sandoz or Boehringer Ingelheim on the syringe replaced. They know you can get sure that this really the similar product to the originator. But the others maybe not so correct. But when you see this terminus from these companies, you can really be sure that it's an originator biosimilar, not really different to other. But in medicine, things develop very, very fast. I'm standing here. Maybe there are some problems with one product. There's a delivery process, and all biosimilar have then a bad point. That is not the truth. What seems promising yesterday may be a quick question mark tomorrow. I give you an example that I know. There was an excellent treatment for psoriasis and psoriasis arthritis. This is called an IL-17 pathway with brodalumab. Very effective. There have been studies for 2 years, 108 weeks, extra effective and safety profiles were shown out in the last June and 2015 at the last summer. We hope this brodalumab was coming to the market, but 1 month later of this presentation, Amgen is the company, stopped immediately the brodalumab program. It stuns the world, this was clear. And there were some suicidal behaviors in patients, and Amgen stopped completely the program. In the placebo group, there were no suicidal behaviors, and it is not clear why there so suicidal behavior, and there was no relationship and no clear explanation why this happened. But Amgen abruptly stopped this program, has stunned the industry, and show how fickle is and of drug development programs this is. And what in the first shows very, very good, and there's a big question mark tomorrow. So They have lost a lot of money in these trials. Maybe in 5-6 years, Prolab will come back. But now this effective drug is stopped. We have alternatives, clear, but it is a very effective medication. It's no example for you that medicine is very, very fast. We have to look at the patient, at the rest of the world, what is going on, and this is very, very exciting. Thank you. It was my pleasure to be here, and thank you for the invitation. Let me close with one of the sentences of Joseph Small. This is one of the famous pharmacists in the world. This is in Austria, in Vienna. Rheumatic disease have not lost their own, suddenly progress more slowly, because we have new medications which lead to remission. We learn to understand them better, and we have to treat them accordingly. And the money is not unlimited. We must use it effectively, or let it say precisely, for these patients who will need it and treat them. I am personally not afraid of the biosimilars when they are from the big market, from the big companies, and they are approved by the EMA and showed their similarity. I'm afraid of the regulators. We discussed, I have here some colleagues, we discussed very interesting point. But for in Norway, the regulators forced the doctors for one medication first. They have not the possibility for change or for the possibility for the choice for the treatments. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lunzer, for this interesting lecture. For those who want to have a look at this presentation again, we will put it on the website www.helipro.link. This webinar will be closed now. Thank you very much for joining us, and we hope to see you at our next webinar. Take care and bye-bye.
Thank you.